Oh.
cartoon with I think it's an abominable snowman, and he finds Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, and I'm gonna hug you and squeeze you and call you George. Oh, hug you and love you and squeeze you and call you George. Hi.
Oh, they're gonna get the view in the ISO room set up. Ben just posted where the pumpkin trio is.
In the which is gonna be like a temporary secondary romper room. For
right, I saw it. Oh no.
Yeah. Everything is a toy.
Everything which is mine is yours. So Cynthia, here we are. You know, you're the first. I think you're the first person I ever met from KR.
Mm-hmm.
Ta-da!
With my babies.
With you, because I had lost my last kitty. I guess it was the end of October or beginning of November 2013, and I was looking because I'd heard of KR because a neighbor was a bottle feeder, but it didn't dawn on me. And I remember going through how you'll explain how those lists are if you want to adopt, and I saw a couple of kitties and I marked them and I thought, how cute. And I saw Kitten Rescue had adoptions every Saturday, and I walked in and I can still remember.
And there they were.
Oh my God, I said, those are two of the ones I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wasn't sure. So and then you told me their background, which I think you told me they were real sick.
Yeah, they were dropped off at our Stevenson Ranch location, and there originally were 4 kittens in that litter, and I was asked to take them because they were very, very sick, and one had already passed away. And so when I got them, they were very lethargic, very dehydrated, didn't want to eat. There wasn't anything specifically wrong. It wasn't like they had this virus, or it was very clearly this illness. They just weren't doing well. They were just
not
all
thriving.
around, just not feeling well. He's gonna take it. Yeah, they needed sub-Q fluids and Nutrical and antibiotics and force feeding for several days. And their fevers were around 105 to 106, which is really scary level. It's starting to get on the edge of danger zone. If it hits like 107, we're talking panic. But the fluids really help with high fevers because it helps just kind of cool their body off a little bit. Just getting that extra liquid in there. They were pretty sick. I wasn't sure of the girl, the one that you have.
Little Zoe.
She was the sickest. And I wasn't sure she was going to make it at first, but after about a week or so, she bounced back. Yeah, it took her longer to catch up than her brothers did. The brothers were doing better really much faster. This is my coffee.
Oh, no, it isn't.
No coffee for kittens. No coffee for kittens.
So you nursed them back to health, and then I found them. So that was a good story.
Yeah.
But you know, a lot of people we mentioned I was going to do this, and some of them couldn't be watching, so they sent some questions. So I jotted them down, and
I'm just gonna have to hold this.
Oh, and maybe we could start by I can ask you, how long have you actually been with Kitten Rescue?
I started volunteering for Kitten Rescue in, I think it was March of 2011.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
Going on 6 years.
What were you doing when you were volunteering?
Just fostering.
Oh, you started with, okay.
I started as a foster parent.
Why did you want to foster?
I had adopted a cat from the shelter. My roommate and I at the time, we had adopted 2 kittens together. So she adopted one, I adopted one, so we had the 2 of them together. Which is funny because I didn't want a kitten. I wanted an adult cat and I wanted an orange cat, and I ended up with a 3-month-old fluffy dark Maine Coon kitten who picked me. His personality to this day is still like he is the right cat for me. Which is why it's really more about the personality, but I wanted to rescue an adult cat because I knew they had a harder time, and that's not what I ended up with. I don't regret it because he is a good choice, but I always like the older cats.
How old is he now?
He's 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she ended up getting a job with Universal Studios in Tokyo, and her cat went to her parents' home. So she moved out with the cat, and I had Dean by himself. And he went kind of crazy. He was pacing, he was crying, he didn't really settle down, and I knew he needed another friend. And so I was at my grandfather's house, and my parents brought their dog with them. And as soon as the dog was in the house, he was normal. Like, he was chill, he didn't care, he just hung out. He was like, oh, cool, I have company again.
Oh.
When they took the dog for the walk, he went crazy again. So I went, I don't think it's necessarily just that he misses his buddy, because I'm sure he did. I think he just wanted company. I don't think he really cared who it was, as long as there was somebody else around. So because I was just doing part-time jobs and I didn't really have like a career path or anything yet, my mom recommended fostering. So I Googled cat fostering and Kitten Rescue popped up.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
And now look what happened.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. So, like, when you wanted to be a foster, you had to go through training and everything? Because we know that you do that now.
Yes.
We'll get to that in a minute. But
yeah, back then Ben did all the training. So he likes having someone else to do it now.
Okay, so I can see that you got that, and it just grew and grew. When I met you, you were not the foster coordinator yet, but you were running the adoptions events every Saturday.
Yeah,
right.
We
call it
we call it event leads. It's people who've been either doing it for a while or at least know what they're doing and are willing to kind of take charge of the event and help other new fosters and stuff out. And so I had actually, within the first 3 months of fostering, this woman named Linda D'Angelo, who was a really good foster in the area at the time, had kind of targeted me, so to speak, as a potential future her, you know, like a mini me. She's like, ooh, I could groom this person to be me, and because she was an event lead, she'd been volunteering for a while, and she did lots of kitten adoptions and lots of fostering, and so she kind of taught me everything, and then I ended up essentially taking over a lot of what she did. And when she moved to Pittsburgh, she had a mini me to leave behind.
Oh, that was very good.
Yeah, it worked out well.
So you have been the foster coordinator for how long now?
I was hired June of 2014. So.
Oh wow! So good
2.5
2.5 years.
Yeah, about 2.5 years now.
I bet you've seen everything there is to see.
Probably pretty close to it. I'm sure there's still things that I haven't seen yet, but it does feel at times that like I've seen it all, which is kind of cool.
Okay, so speaking of the foster, and I know this is a tough question, how many current fosters, not cats, the people, are currently actually with fosters, kitties?
Physically with fosters, it's about 150. We have 117 active fosters who are taking in cats, doing isolation, helping with enclosure relief.
Do me a favor, did I leave my...
It's chewing on your monkey.
Well, it's not that, I'm looking at the what, pardon us folks, this is live TV.
Let's play over here, just in case he decides the cord looks tasty.
Yeah, I'm watching him. So you have 150.
Yeah, about 150 people who actually have Kitten Rescue cats.
How do you advertise, because obviously the fosters are all in this area, how do you get people?
Right now we're not doing a whole ton of targeted foster recruitment, though we're planning to do that in the next year. But we get a lot of applications, actually. A lot of people come across our website, they come to our adoption events. I do get a lot of applications every single week. So the little that we're doing is getting a good number in. We do post it on things like Craigslist and Volunteer Match and things like that. So it is out there, you know, aside from just on our website. I found it by Googling kitten fostering Los Angeles, and so we do pop up in searches, which is good too. So that's another way that we find people. I've had people say that they found us that way. We're also, because we're a partner with the NKLA Coalition, any inquiries that go through their websites and their volunteer resources of people looking for groups to foster for come to me as well. So they have a system where if someone says, hey, I want to foster cats, it goes out to every organization in their group who has cats, and then you reply, and I try to reply immediately so that we can try and catch some of those people before.
Because I know I've been at some events with you where I've seen people come up and say, Gee, I'd like to foster.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yep. Here's the information. Here's the
There's
email
a questionnaire, of course.
There's an application of a sense. Really, what it is, it gives me an idea of what sort of situation they're in. You know, do they have other animals? Are they available? Do they have room to ISO animals? And all of those things, once they've gone through orientation, help me figure out what's going to be the best foster cat situation. You know, if they have little kids in the home, that's something that I do need to know, because there are some cats that they're really shy and that might not be so good, or they're friendly but they're just a little bit, and the kids are really calm, and actually that would be really good for them to get that extra socializing with young people who want to sit there and cuddle cats all day.
Because I know there's home checks for adoptions, but they're not home checks per se for fostering.
Not really. We've done some, and we do still. You know, sometimes I'll pop by people's homes, and sometimes we'll send a med holder over, do like microchipping or something. So, pretty much what it seems to happen is that at some point someone will be by their house within the first kind of fostering section.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's interesting because, like I say, to keep track of it, I don't know how you do it. I mean, you must have a database of something that you are constantly working with.
Yeah, I do a lot of written notes. I like to write everything down. So I print out lists of the cats that I'm watching, a list of the fosters that I'm watching. I check in with everybody as much as I possibly can, and just kind of routinely check in, make sure everything's going well.
I mean, do you have help, or you basically are doing this?
For the most part, I'm doing it on my own. The problem that we ran into is relying on someone else who's also a volunteer, to do that. And then I also don't know what's happening is the other thing, and I really do need to know what's going on with each foster.
Sure.
Because it gives me an insight also for their next set of kittens. What problems did they face? What can they do? What can't they handle? And then I can make sure that they're getting something that is A, going to keep them fostering with us, and B, be a successful fostering situation.
So, like, let's say which I wouldn't because I have the degree, but I filled out an application. Okay. Do you have like a training thing, a class that you run, or something? Could you tell us about that?
Yeah,
we have future people.
Yes, we have an orientation that everyone attends. The orientation takes about an hour and a half, and we hold it here at the sanctuary.
Okay.
Everybody gets a binder with all of the information in it. There's a cheat sheet with the page numbers and kind of quick list and contacts. And then if they're interested and they have carrier with them, they could potentially take cats home the same day.
Right away?
Yeah, which has been really helpful in getting the nursery kittens into foster homes quicker.
That's interesting. How many people, I'm wondering if people think, this will be fun. And after they go through the orientation, they go, it's on my extension cord. You know what?
Come here, you. Come here. Oh, sorry, Lulu. I was trying not to disturb you
fault.
here.
I had my charger in here.
I'm sorry.
And they go and they say, I don't want this responsibility. Or can you sometimes weed out people who might think it's all fun and games, but...
Yeah, we do. One nice thing that I think helps is that when I do get an application, I send them an email with all the information about how we do fostering, so that kind of screens them out a little bit, because they, if they don't want to do anything at all, then they already know going into it, okay, this is going to be a little bit of effort on my part. It's not just take a cat home, have fun with it, drop it off somewhere. You actually do have to do a little bit of work.
But it's worth it, huh?
I'll bet it is. Speaking of that, maybe you're getting somebody asking you a question. Somebody asked this earlier this week, so I wrote it down. Let's say a person wants, you want to read? Okay, here you go.
I'll ask the questions from here out.
Financially, if I want to foster some cats, and somebody said, what's the deal? Does Kitten Rescue assist with the financial cost to care for them, or is it out of pocket or partially tax deductible expense? I think a lot of people would want to know that.
So Kitten Rescue as an organization covers all of the medical costs for our cats. So their shots, their dewormers, vet visits, all of that is covered. Everything else is the responsibility of the foster parent. Everything that you put into the cats is tax deductible because it is considered a donation to a 501c3. Because the cats do belong to us, so you are providing, It'd be the same as if you brought things to the sanctuary. You're providing items that are necessary for for them to live, and so that is tax deductible. So when fosters buy toys and beds and food and litter, it is tax deductible, but they do have to pay for all of it. So it gets very expensive very quickly when you have a lot of fosters.
And you have
don't you want my sunglasses? Thank you.
and you've had people who have been fostering for years. We know some of them like Eden and a lot of folks.
Yeah.
So and the folks I meet every Saturday over at Westchester with you. They've been doing that for years, so it's got to be something really special.
Now we're gonna chew on my phone. We can't win
Do you
here.
think you guys are hungry?
Here.
But so yeah,
That's exciting.
people really have to be committed.
Yeah.
Tell me about foster fails, because we always see this term. In fact, when Nice Lady, who I call her on camera because we took Ellie, everybody is just saying, oh, please let her be a foster fail. And I don't know anything about it because I haven't spoken to her in the last several days. But what's a percentage of foster fails? Well, I know Dusty and Cliff.
Yeah,
That
they
was
were
a
foster fails. They were foster fails. It's not a huge percentage, to be realistic. It's
Really?
of all the cats that we have, it's maybe 5-10% tops.
That's it?
Yeah, but with new fosters, it seems to be a little bit more of a symptom.
A symptom?
People who foster and they adopt out like their first 2, 3, 4 litters, they're probably not going to be keeping every single kitten. Whereas we do see a fair number of fosters who will adopt their first kitties and then are not able to foster anymore, and that's totally fine. Our whole thing is making sure kitties are in the correct homes and that they're in the right match, and if that's the foster parent's home, then that's the foster parent's home. That's where they should stay.
And here's another thing somebody asked me also. We know like the other day sometimes cat is adopted and is returned within a day or two. Have you found a lot of fosters who return cats or kitties for a reason? Whatever it is, I don't know.
You mean if they've adopted them?
No, if they're fostering them and they say, oh, I can't do this, or, I mean, is that a large number or pretty small?
Yeah, I think it's pretty small overall. There's not a whole lot, but I definitely do get the random, I'm moving in 2 days and can't foster anymore.
Oh.
For whatever reason, everyone who does that, and it's not very many, it's a very small number, they do seem to wait until the very last minute to suddenly tell you. A lot of times it's because they feel really bad, they feel guilty, they're trying to make it work. They feel bad that they're letting the rescue down in that sense. And we always figure it out, we make it happen. But it's not a lot, it's a very small number of people that end up having to give the kitties back. We also have a lot of options within our foster program.
Oh, okay.
So, people who are going into it saying, I can only do short term, like I already know that that's not going to be until they're adopted. That's a short term situation. So we do offer that because of those types of situations to try and
But you're assuming that then they are going to be adopted, like, quickly.
Yeah, but it depends.
But that's when we spoke about people
depends.
who have had some fosters for years.
Yeah.
Beautiful cats. I remember looking at the cats available for adoption, and some of them have been there for a long time.
Yeah. There's no rhyme or reason to it. There's no statistic as to why one cat gets adopted and the other doesn't. There's a lot of variables that go into it, personality, what sort of situation they can live in. But at the end of the day, it's a completely unpredictable, magical formula of the right person and the right cat at the right place at the right time. And if they all happen to line up, you get an adoption. We've had a cat that we brought one weekend and he got adopted. And then, right now I've got a kitten who's 10 months old who's been out since she was 8 weeks.
Is that Emerald?
Emerald, yeah. So, it just, and yet she's a bottle baby. She's super sweet, loves people.
Adorable.
She's an amazing cat, but not the right person yet. So there's no rhyme or reason to it. It just kind of is.
And like one of the reasons I think foster is like the biggest part to me of Kitten Rescue, because there are more cats out there than the sanctuary or here, and excuse me, And the pressure to find them, like, you know, I'm always in the nursery every week, and and now I heard the fruits are going to
The fruits.
Yeah, kiwi, black, blueberry, and mango are going to a foster, and hopefully some others. We don't want to say till it's official.
Yeah.
But how do you
No
find?
tipping our hand.
How do you find them? Okay, I mean, you have the nursery a big turnover, although it's slowing down now.
Yeah.
Because we're out of season. But how do you find them? I always go in and I go, oh my God, they're not fostered yet.
Yeah,
Is there pressure on you?
Yes.
That's my
yes.
I got
Yes, there is. There always is. And it's not just the nursery. It's, you know, when we get emails, especially from donors or our vets asking us to help out, you know, we always try to help. Basically, it's anytime there's an available shoe box to squash a cat into, we squish a cat in somewhere. A lot of it is I'm trying to watch adoption reports from the venues. When I check in with fosters, you know, I find out, do they have pending applications? Because as soon as cats get adopted, I could potentially move kitties in. And if I wait for paperwork to show up, I won't know right away. So I'm always trying to stay on top of the overall system of who's being adopted, who's got interest, who might have room for kittens in the next week or so, and then it's kind of a constant juggle because adoptions are so spontaneous. You can't predict when an adoption is going to happen. You know, one day you have nothing. All of a sudden, I have like 2-3 foster homes available, and then for the next month or two, you know, there's a little wiggle room here, a little spot there, and you know, I've had a couple of situations where I knew I needed to move a cat by a certain time, and it was getting closer and closer, and I'm going, oh no, they're gonna have to go in my bathroom or something. I don't know what else to do with them.
That was the next thing.
And it was like 2 days before the person was leaving town, and someone went, my kittens got adopted, I can take more. And I went,
thank
hallelujah. Yeah, you know,
like how many
it always works out.
Okay, you foster, of course, as well as your besides Emerald, how many do you have right now?
Right now I have 4. And that's,
including Emerald? Or?
Yes, including Emerald. Yeah, I only have 4
Only
fosters.
4?
Only 4. I usually have 6, but I have 4 because my parents were here over the holiday and they'll be back again for Christmas. And they have their cat who needs to come with them and needs to have a separate room because she's not a big fan of other cats. Though we actually had her out with all of my cats, and while she growled at them all when they came close, they were able to kind of coexist okay. But Sarah definitely needs her own space to get away from everyone. She's not a big fan.
I can understand that.
So I'm keeping the numbers a little bit lower because of company. It's the first time they've come to visit me here. I usually go to Seattle. Everett is where my sister is. And then my kitties go to foster friends who watch them. So then I could have more foster cats in my house because, well, I didn't have people
remember
there.
on your foster Cynthias, by the way, would you tell the people what your
Cynthia KR Fosters. It's a Facebook page.
Okay, because and it's a public page because I'm not being on Facebook and some others, so I can access that and Kitten Rescues.
Yeah.
And you once posted a picture of what your dad built on your
balcony.
balcony. And
yeah, he enclosed my balcony, which is really nice.
so they can all go out.
Yep, they get to hang out on the balcony. It's completely safe. They can't get off of it. I've actually moved 3 of the litter boxes out there, which is nice because it helps keep the track. It's more for the tracking of litter in the house, and now the inside boxes are just the breeze box, which they actually really seem to like, and I like them, so that helps too.
Another thing folks have asked about too, you do home checks, like you checked my home. I picked you up at West Shore, you came over, you looked around, and you gave me some pointers that even though I had cats for years.
Kittens are different.
Kittens are different, and you told me.
And I know my kittens.
The cat screen, Pet screen, thank you. What are some of the things that you or Nina or someone look for when you do home checks? I think people would like to know.
I think everyone does it a little bit differently, but the main idea, to quote Ben from when he did my orientation, because I find it funny, really the home checks are for the obvious stupid things. You know, there's not stuffed cat heads on the wall. There's no alligator pit in the living room. You know, we're not checking corners for dust. We're not, you know, oh, you've got a pile of papers on your desk, it looks sloppy. Like, that's not what it's about. It's really For me,
Go ahead.
it's
Time
Sandra.
out.
Okay, let me just see. Hey Sandra, do you need me? Yes. I'm doing a little interview on the cam, but I can step out for a minute.
Hi, Sandra.
She says hi. Should
A few more.
I call you back when we're done? Okay, I'll call you back. Okay, bye.
You see, this
Just
is
checking. It could be work. I don't
No,
know.
right,
She might
no.
need something.
right. I mean, it shows you that it's a non-ending job. No,
Yeah.
but back to the home check. So we were talking
Yeah, so
about
I
that.
use the home checks really to help kitten proof, which is more what it was at your house. I think there were some teacups or something
Oh
on the shelf
yeah, you warned me
that I
they're
saw
gonna
them
run-
and I went, they're beautiful, but the kittens will destroy them. Like instantaneously, they will knock them over.
Right. I mean, I have perfected earthquake putty,
Mm-hmm.
and
But
everybody
kittens are
on the
different.
kitten cam though knows about earthquake putty under
Mhm.
heavy things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so blind cords that are hanging down, they might not think of those as being something the kittens might play with, because they're just everyday items that you don't necessarily pay attention to. One of my friends adopted from me that I knew from Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights, and he's a musician, so he had a lot of guitars on his wall.
Oh.
And I looked at some of the guitar straps that had furry, dangly things, and I went, you might want to just kind of take the straps off, because I know my kitten will have a blast playing with them and might knock a guitar off the wall, and that would be really
exactly.
bad.
What
Which
else
again,
have
just
you-
not something you think about.
Have you found interesting things when you were doing home checks?
Um,
I mean, that you would go, what?
Not really, no.
How about indoor,
say they're-
outdoor? You're watching to see that they can't just run out. And
Yeah,
run.
say I've never had any of those situations. I certainly know foster parents who have been doing this, 15 or more years, who've said they've walked into a situation where there were just like open pet doors, open screen doors. They didn't have a screen on the slider and it was wide open, stuff like that. I've never had that situation, thankfully, that I've walked into. But those are things that we look for. Is there a pet door they didn't tell you about? They're like, oh
Right.
yeah, well the backyard's fine by themselves with no supervision.
Oh no.
But really, it's kitten proofing. You're not walking into a crazy death trap. And for me, especially integration with
Lost my
resident
feed.
animals.
Uh-oh.
No,
I'll try
in
to
case
pull that.
you might see some questions, because mine all of a sudden has gone to 3G.
Yeah.
While we're doing this too, and people might be wondering, because it looks like you have a job that's 24/7,
Mhm.
365
Yep.
day. What do you do? I know you're gonna laugh, but
On a daily
inquiring minds want to know. No, I'm gonna ask you about your regular day.
Mhm.
But what do you do when you're not doing this? Is there?
I don't do anything but this.
You have no. No.
I really don't. No.
What do you like to do if you
downtime.
could?
I like to go and do stuff. When my parents were here, I do tend to do more things because they pay for stuff, which is nice.
That's good.
So like we went on a dolphin safari with Captain Dane's dolphin safari down at Lynx Point. And that was really, really fun. I had done it once before for my friend for her birthday, because her friend, she's someone I met through Kitten Rescue, she's also was a foster. She can't foster right now, but she still volunteers and comes to events and stuff like that. But her friends were like over it, I guess, and she was like, I need people to go with, I still like going. I'm like, well, I've never done it, so I'll go I love being on the ocean. I grew up going sailing all the time. So.
Oh, you did? You're
Yeah.
from out here?
I'm from Santa Barbara, so
okay.
close enough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Santa Barbara. My dad had a skipper's license at the harbor, and so we would take boats out and we go sailing quite a lot. So I'm
That
very,
was
very
when
used
you
to the
had
ocean.
time.
I love when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You have time when you're a kid to do stuff.
And you have a sister, I think.
I do have a sister.
Because I see her a lot of times on
Yeah.
the page.
Yeah, she lives in Everett.
She's not here.
No, she's not here. Yeah, she's in Everett, and she'll be visiting. She has 2 Kitten Rescue cats that I flew up to her. The foster.
Anybody we know?
I don't think you guys know AJ. She's from Turkey. AJ was our volunteer of the year,
Yeah,
not this
she
year,
was
but
at,
the 2 years ago.
Right.
You were there if you
I
saw
was
that
there.
video with the bug-eyed cat. That's my cat. That's my sister's cat. That's my niece cat.
Oh, cool.
And because AJ had brought that cat from Turkey and all the medical, she was willing to fly me and the kitties up to Seattle, Mukilteo at the time. Now she's in Everett. And to deliver that kitty and also a really shy street LA kitty that she has. So
Can you imagine
She's
that
got
being
kids.
shy?
yeah, it's funny. We never had any cats growing up. I never had.
That
any
was
cats
my
ever.
next
Yeah,
question.
I never had
What
a
did
cat
you-
until 7 years ago, and now I have 2. My sister has 2, and my parents have 1.
That was my
A cat
question. You
invasion.
never had cats.
Nope. No, we never had cats. Mm-mm. We had
Because-
dogs. I had a dog.
okay, so
I had
you're,
we had a
you're
golden
basically
retriever.
an animal
I
person.
treat my cats like dogs. It works out well. They know not to run through the open door. If I have the door open, the front door, I can just tell them back, and they'll back away from it.
That's
Then
very
I'll
good.
snap my fingers, tell them down, and they'll jump off the counter because they know they're not supposed to be up there.
Really?
My cat Dean, I'll hear a clink, and all I have to do is go, Dean, and you hear thud, and he comes charging out of the kitchen like I didn't do it.
You're
He
happy.
knows. He
But
knows.
so you have enough room for your place. Oh, that's okay. I have it sealed. Your place, you have like what? 2 bedroom. I mean, how much room?
I'm very lucky. I have a condo now that my parents and I, as a family, we own, and so I have 2 bedrooms and also an office, which is really nice because my office used to be my living room. So it was like one end of the couch
Stuff.
was working. The other end of the couch was like, okay, I can relax, except I always felt like I was supposed to be working because that was where I was working, but it's also my living room. So it's very weird to work from home when it's in the same space. So having a separate room that I can go into the office, work, get to the end of the day, and then leave the office is really helpful just mentally to separate.
Okay, which another question when you're saying it, how often? Well, I know the answer, but how often do you come here? And when you come here, what do you do? And I know what you do. And how did you learn to do all that with the medicine and everything?
Well, I come to the nursery sanctuary about once a week. I try to come once a week. Every now and then I'll miss a week because of other stuff happening, but typically I'm here every week. Sundays I'm doing orientation. Tuesdays I'm just coming to check on cats and see what's going on. And help Lindsay get caught up on vaccines and stuff. And
Right.
sometimes I'll stab these guys just because if I'm doing everybody in there, I might as well come do these guys.
How did you learn the medical? Did Ben train you, or did you? Or
Actually, Linda D'Angelo taught
Oh,
me
okay.
everything because she was a med holder and did vaccines and everything. My first cat who needed fluids, it was a little white kitten named Calypso. No, Calypso was not Calliope. Sorry, Calypso was the other white one. They were identical white kittens, and there was a tortie. So it was Calypso, Calliope, and Persephone. And Calliope was the one who got really sick.
yeah.
Calypso also got sick, but not quite as bad. But I had to drive her to another person's house, my friend Karen, who still fosters for us, and she did the
Oh, I
fluids.
know Karen. Sure.
Yeah, Karen John Smith.
Right.
She did the fluids on the kitten for me and kind of showed me how to do it. And I came back a second time to do fluids the next day, and I went ahead and just grabbed a bag of fluids and went, I can do this. And I just did it.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of the medical we show you once or twice, and then you just kind of do it. The vaccines were super easy. Once you can do fluids, for me, the vaccine was really, really easy because it's easier than fluids. The youngest cat I've ever done fluids on was a 2-day-old bottle baby. That was interesting.
Oh, how do you even find any?
Well, fluids are subcutaneous, so they're
Oh,
not
okay,
in.
just get under
yeah,
the
it's
skin,
just under the
that's
skin, so it's really easy. But it's a really tiny needle and a really tiny kitten, and a really tiny amount of fluids. But I did do fluids, and because I had a neonate litter brought to me that were all in various stages of dying, so that was fun. But we saved all except for one. But the one that didn't make it was about half the size of the others and kind of looked like a preemie. It didn't look fully developed, really, but all 5 of the others survived. So that was kind of
Yeah, that's just a sad
Yeah.
thing too. You know, like because I'm in the nursery once a week, and you are. We have seen a lot of heartbreak.
Yep.
But how they fight to survive, and the ones that do, and my 3 girls, and they're who are going to be 4 months old tomorrow. I assume they're getting ready to be spayed because they.
At some point.
Getting big.
That's up to Ben on that respect.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
But,
it's
yeah.
wonderful to see what Kitten Rescue does, really.
Yeah.
So there was one question. I think a person came on late, so
Yeah, we
I
haven't
just
even
want to
looked.
ask you again: how many cats are out there being fostered. I know you said there are about 150 people
Yeah.
in the foster program. You're always looking for more. Everybody want to know that.
Yeah.
And again, how many cats? I'm sorry. Just
Right now, I believe we have about 750 kitties, and that's just regular Kitten Rescue cats. We have 2 different foster programs. We have, which I'm in charge of both of them.
Oh, explain that again. That's
So I'm in charge of both foster programs. So the regular foster program is the KR cats, which are what all these guys are. They're the ones where Kitten Rescue pays for all the medical. We've done the intake, that sort of thing. We also have a program called community fostering.
Oh, tell that. That's
And we're CF. You'll probably hear CF cats mentioned.
Community
And so
fostering.
community fostering is a way for us to help people who have a discrete need to place cats. It is a program to allow members of the public where we can't say, yeah, we'll take your cat in or we will pay for everything. They can get access to our discount vets. We'll give them vaccines, dewormer, that sort of stuff, complimentary. We'll give them discounted microchips. They place the cats through us, or they still have the freedom to place them outside of the rescue. They can kind of do what they want still. If they place the cat through Kitten Rescue, they use our contract, they do our adoption policies, all of that stuff. The adoption fee goes to Kitten Rescue, and we will reimburse up to that adoption fee whatever medical expenses they have. So in a lot of cases, they can kind of break even, or get all of the money back depending on how much they've spent on things like fixing and testing.
So that is smaller number of cats.
It's a smaller number of cats. There's also cats with regular KR fosters that have CF numbers for various reasons. Sometimes we'll issue a CF number because someone says, hey, I trapped this cat, I want to start getting it ready, but I'm not sure really how adoptable it's going to end up being, so you know what, I'll just take a CF number and we'll go from there. Because the financial responsibility is on them. And part of that is because we have so many cats that are, you know, feral, semi-feral, failed socialization projects. And they cost the organization a lot of money, and so we can't take on every single one of those, especially when it's really kind of an iffy case and we're like, I just don't know if that cat is going to be adoptable and we can't afford to pay for them for the next 20 years. And so we'll have some people who have CF numbers for cats that they've rescued that they said, you know what, I'll just give me a CF number, we'll go from there and see what happens. If they get adopted, awesome. If not, they're in my house, they're my responsibility, you don't have to worry about it. So.
Oh, okay.
So some of our regular fosters have community foster cats as well.
Very interesting. And one more question, because see, I thought half an hour and it's 40 minutes, and I know people they'll see this.
They're getting bored.
Nah. And also, you should know that it is one of our cam ops, Connie Sue, is going to tape it, and you will be able to
see
everybody
how
will
silly
see
I
it.
look.
And even hopefully Ben and the others will see, because you were really, really promoting this foster program, which is all of
it's a lot of work, but it's really rewarding to be a foster, and that's why I did it for so many years. First, I mean, I've only been doing it for almost 6 years, which in terms of people who've been doing it in 10-15 years, it's not that long, but it's still kind of a long time in the overall life of the average foster. Most people go a few years and then they kind of peter out. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of responsibility, there's a lot of emotional attachment and involvement to all of the cats.
I could never do it, I told you.
Yeah, I get attached to every single one of them. I remember pretty much every single one of them. The ones that kind of pass through very, very quickly, it may be a little harder to remember them. But I've had a few that came to me from someone else that had them for like a week and then they were adopted.
No, I know you remember.
So those ones are a little harder to remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
remember yours because they were really.
And I'm
fine.
always seeing you almost every week to show you the
That
latest.
And that is nice because the reality is that very, very few people send updates. For the most part,
The same thing with adopters too.
It's very much a no news is good news. If you don't hear from the adopter, everything should be okay.
Hopefully.
And it's hard to just kind of trust that because, especially with sick cats and medical cases and kitties that you've put a lot of time and energy into, it's hard to not hear and know if they're really okay. You just kind of have to trust it. And it's hard to keep taking, I mean, for me, as soon as I adopt out cats, especially if I miss them, I turn around and get new babies because it makes me feel better.
That's another
so that
thing.
helps.
People sometimes lose a cat after many years.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a series of them, and I thought after the last one, that's enough.
Yeah.
And that lasts about 2 weeks for me.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, oh, my cat will love me doing this, you know. For the
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the last question I do have for you, because you mentioned things, let's just talk a minute about our Powerpuff Girls, our babies, who I know we have professional photographers, and I've been lucky to do videos and pictures of them ever since they were here. People are wondering, will they get adopted? How, and I know it's Ben.
Yeah.
So hopefully Ben will be
but
for an interview
Ben will
with
do a good
Jelly
job.
for a while, but I mean, they can be adopted out to
Yes.
the right person.
Yes. And what Ben said is that they will be adopted.
They're too cute.
He is very confident that these kittens will definitely be adopted. They're continent. They don't need extra special medical care. They're not having chronic infections.
No,
or
they're
anything
very
crazy.
healthy.
They're very, very healthy.
They love to play.
Yeah, so they're very friendly, so that
Oh.
helps too. A lot of times, what we've seen with cats with disabilities, if they are not continent, that is usually the deal breaker. Such as Santito.
Oh, yeah,
If
Sure.
anyone has seen Santito or Tito's
Right.
page, Santito has his own Facebook page. He is essentially a foster fail, mostly because there was a lot of interest in adopting him until people learned that he is incontinent. He will be in diapers for the rest of his life. And he does need his bladder expressed on a pretty
That's
regular
a lot of work.
basis. It's
That's
a lot of work. And most people are not willing to do quite that much. So the fact that these kittens are continent and
you
they
know what I
can get themselves
noticed?
around,
Right.
and they are getting stronger.
Oh, they
They are
definitely
definitely
are.
getting
I can see,
stronger.
and
Yeah.
you know what I noticed, and Lindsay was telling me too, I will see them sometimes roll over
Yes.
to the wee pad
Oh yeah,
and kind of go there, more
they
or
are
less.
trying.
Yes,
they
they
know
are.
that they're gonna go. They know where they're supposed to go. They're very smart,
Exactly.
and that all makes them a lot more adoptable.
Exactly.
Which is great.
Well,
Because we've
yeah.
had crippled kitties who
I
couldn't
know we
walk,
have,
and they've all been adopted.
thankfully they will.
Yeah.
They will go. Okay,
At
my
some point.
friend.
Well, we should probably
45
glance
minutes.
at this real quick, just make
Let's
sure
just
there
see,
weren't any.
because I don't want to leave
real
anybody
questions.
out, but somehow
Ah.
this thing went down to 3G. I don't know why.
So Jody was asking if there's a way to donate to the foster programs.
Good question.
The best ways to donate, you can go through the website. You can send a check to the address here. It's a public address now.
Oh yeah, it's 3519
yeah.
Casitas Avenue, LA 90039.
Yeah, so in terms of supplies, you can donate to specific fosters if they have wish lists. I know I have a wish list. Sarah Lillard has a wish list.
And I think they
Eden
just
has a wish list. So some of the
Yeah.
fosters will put up
will
wish
put
lists. But anytime we get big donations here at the sanctuary, like from corporations, Wellness or Halo, or somebody gives a huge donation, and we look at the amount, we go, this is not something we can reasonably get through at the sanctuary quickly enough. We try to give to the fosters as well. But the biggest thing is those medical expenses. It's been very tough this year. We've had a lot of medical expenses, so.
Well, people sponsor cats in the sanctuary, which Jelly has done a great job, and it's a very small amount of money for the year. And I kind of laugh because one trip to the vet, that's it. That's it. So I don't know.
I've had some pretty expensive kitties because I do take a lot of medical case cats. Anna is probably a good $5,000. Beans is, I think he's like $2,500 to $3,000. Because they're both their specialty eye. Well, Anna had 4 different specialty eye surgeries. The last one was free, thankfully.
Okay. My thing is just stop functioning.
Mine's
Here we
working.
go. Do we know how Miss Ellie is doing with Nice Lady?
I do not. Nina has been in contact with her, so I kind of just let Nina handle that. I didn't want
Sometimes I run into her.
Yeah, so I didn't want to be have too many people badgering her with how the cat's doing. So Nina knows that if there's any problems to contact me. Nice Lady knows to contact me. So in cases like that where there is somebody else that I know, I trust Nina to follow up on it. She's not just gonna ignore it. So in this situation, I know I don't need to be hovering, playing helicopter mom. If there's a problem, they'll let me know. So no news is good news.
No, and plus the fact that she's close by anyway, and she's here. So I think that's about it. 'Cause
Praline
this
was
isn't-
asking how many fosters. So we have about 150. 117 are actively fostering in terms of taking in, adopting out, and the rest are kind of warehousing old cats. We've got a couple of hospice or unadoptables, but they are still technically our cats. And some of those people are reactivating in the recent years, so that's pretty cool
That's
too.
good. That's good.
I just want to make sure we don't.
No,
miss
I
anything.
kind of scrolled down and then my phone went, forget it. And, but I think we got,
yeah, I think that was everybody.
plus like I say, I did have a lot. So you
And
guys,
we can do
okay.
this again.
oh, we will do this again, maybe in a few months.
Yeah.
Because I know that Jelly is trying to do one with Nina every
Mhm.
month. I've got Mimi coming up in a few weeks, which should be interesting because one of the things we will ask is how do you build
glue
these
her down?
forts? I glued her down.
Glue her down.
And I have already lined up Lindsay
Mhm.
for during January.
Yep, yeah, Lindsay
So-
had mentioned that.
Yeah, you know, I said, oh, people
Yeah,
love
should
it.
be
So
fun.
you definitely will, we will do this again.
We'll be back.
We'll be back.
We'll be back.
And I do see Cynthia a lot on Saturdays and I'm always posting pictures
Pictures of my
of your
kitties.
babies that are there. And
My emerald and my beans.
oh, Emerald. I think we're all going to
She's a-
grow all
she's a-
together with
She's a
Emerald.
riot. I'm gonna get a
Oh.
Christmas tree and this will be interesting.
Oh, well, you're not going to be here this Saturday, are you? We have that thing Saturday.
No, I will probably be at adoption Saturday.
Oh.
And then I'm probably gonna leave my kitties at Karen's house, cause she has a back room we can put them in.
Mm-hmm.
Plus Emerald used to live at her house, so.
Oh, so she'll be
There's
right
that,
at
and
home.
the kitten will have no problem. Like she loves Karen's house. She just romps around. She loves everything. Because I have one kitten and then 2 teens and 1 young adult. I have Anna,
Oh, wow.
and
Oh, my
Anna's trying to make a case to stay.
Really?
She might be the first one that I fail on. We'll see.
Oh, hey.
It took me 6
you
years
heard
though.
it here.
It took me 6 years, so we're doing good.
Okay. Well, thank you again, my friend.
Yeah, well, thank you.
And this was
fun.
fun.
It's
Right,
always nice to
I
see you.
thought it was so a half an hour, and I thought because people, especially when they see the rewind, it'll be 50 minutes.
Yeah, it's a little.
Well, no, but you have so much to say, and only the fact that the foster program is such an integral part of Kitten Rescue.
The
I mean,
foster
it's
program
it.
is the organization essentially.
That's what I mean, and that's
90% of our cats are in foster care.
and that's why the
So.
responsibility you have
Yeah.
is big.
Foster program, community foster program, intake, enclosure, rotations, all of that. That's
Well-
all me.
I know. I hope they all appreciate you because I do, my
Thanks.
friend.
I do too, because you have my babies.
Yes, I do.
My babies.
I do. So thank you, everybody.
Bye, guys.
I'm gonna come out
Have fun,
after you because I got. Oh no, I